The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's LaunchPad webinar. Looking forward to a great webinar. We're going to keep it short and simple this week, but definitely have some great information. Again, I'll be joined today by Amalia and myself. Amalia, maybe you want to say hi to the ICs out there?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're staying warm.
Excellent. Yeah, it's really been cold all across Canada and also the northeastern part of the U.S. So it's been some crazy weather. But thank God we're alive and we're okay, and we have a sunny day here, so we can't complain. And I'm hoping everybody enjoyed their Family Day in Canada and President's Day in the U.S. I know that I did receive some emails yesterday, so I just wanted to let you know that that was a holiday yesterday, but we'll get back to you as soon as possible today to your request. But look forward to an exciting webinar today. Before we begin, I just wanted to kind of do a bit of a sound check. If you can just reply to me if you can hear me, please, that will help us. If I get some feedback from you, excellent. Thank you very much. There we go. All right, excellent. So let's get started for today. I received some feedback last week in regards to last week's webinar, so hopefully we'll continue to make our webinars better and better. So thank you very much for all your feedback. We're going to talk about latest news and articles. We have a few news items to discuss, as well as a few good articles that we'll be sharing with you. We have a case study this week. It's on adaptive SEO. Definitely look forward to discussing that with you, as well as we'll have some Q&A time. So to begin, the first one that I kind of wanted to share with you was really more of an article than a news piece. I kind of wanted to turn things around. So if you just give me a quick second, let me just share my screen with you, with everybody. There we go. So you can see my screen. Perfect. So there's been a lot of talk in regards to how to optimize for franchise organizations, more specifically for franchisees at the local level. And we do get this question because I know many of you out there as franchisees have your own local websites that you're trying to optimize, or you're optimizing very aggressively. And then, you're also working with your clients who in many cases are franchisees. This great article by Search Engine Land kind of talks about some of the, I would say, probably about the top 6 things that you should be looking at when optimizing locally for franchise companies or franchisees. As you know, many of the franchise parent organizations, they actually do create standard websites for their franchisees. So as a result, when we're working with them, we have to be very careful how to optimize them, and we have to be very particular in the way we relate the information to the head office, right? It's always been like that. I've actually had the opportunity to work with some ICs on a few projects that they were working with their clients, and they were franchise organizations. So it does mean teamwork, because it's a relationship between yourself, as a consultant, right, as a WSI consultant, your client, the franchisee, and the franchisor. Okay, so that's very key. The author here talks about a few key things that you have to keep into perspective when you're going to be doing some SEO work for your clients who are franchisees, in a specific, because they focus on the local area, right? Now, if you're a brick and mortar franchise, it's really hyper local, right? Because you can only service a specific area or region. If you are a franchise that has a larger territory, you may have a bit of more leeway in regards to the way you position your strategy, or you create your geo targets, right? But here are some best business practices to keep in mind, and always when you are working with your clients, consult them on these areas. Number 1, avoid duplicate content. As I said, the corporate franchise companies, the franchisor, typically, in order to keep branding branding consistency, they actually deliver to the franchisee an actual website, and in many occasions the only challenge is that it is duplicate content, so it's content for all. There are various ways to detect duplicate content. One of them is if the actual content of the website, your clients or your franchisee client's website has a homepage, about us, services, and even a blog. You got to make sure that there is a possibility for you as a consultant to be able to to individually optimize those pages. Number one, by having individual content as well as individual meta data or meta content, right? In some cases, the franchisor may only give the franchisee the opportunity to edit certain parts of the website, such as the homepage, the about us, and the services. But if they have a blog, they may not give them that opportunity to edit. And you have to make sure, I mean, best business practices, I would recommend that if you're working with a franchisee, that you are able to edit their blog, because that's where you're going to be organizing most of your ongoing content marketing, right? So all of your content that you're going to be creating for them on a monthly basis, you want to be able to store it on their blog. So number one, avoid duplicate content. Make sure that in reviewing their website, the franchisee website, the content is, at least 80%. I would say actually 80 to 90%. If you can't do 100%, but at least 80 to 90% different than the franchisor website, as well as adding different images. That's also a best business practice, because you want to also optimize the images at the local level. You want to make sure that the images that your client, who's a franchisee, has, those images are different than the franchisor, the parent site. So avoid duplicate content. Number one is local. Number two is localized with purpose. In some cases, beyond city and state, you have to focus. If you're a brick and mortar franchise specific, or your client has a very strict territory that he has to service, you even want to do a little bit of research at the neighborhood level, locale, county. In some cases, I know that it's very hard to get stats from Google while you're doing your keyword research in regards to people searching at the neighborhood level or county level. But in some cases, you may be lucky. The other thing that you may want to do is really do some testing. As you begin to optimize for your client, maybe some of those keywords that you're optimizing for, focus them on, including the neighborhood, the name of the neighborhood, or even the county, because in some cases people may actually be searching down at that level, so very, very deep. It may not be at the city or the state or region. It may be at the county or neighborhood. So very important to localize beyond just the city and the states. This is a great one too. Number two here, all localized sites and landing pages. You want to find ways to create H1s, H2s, and URLs are unique to their specific business location. As a matter of fact, in some cases, let's say an HVAC company or a plumber that services multiple locations, you want to create individual SEO pages for those locations, and preferably if they have an office in those locations, you also want to add their address, the location address, and link them with their specific Google Places page. So you want to make sure that these additional local sites or local SEO pages have their own H1s and H2s and individual URLs. Obviously, NAP is very, very key. Name, address, and phone number information, and store hours, very, very good, specifically in providing differentiators. In some cases, you may have more than one franchise in the same area, and they could be competitors, even though they're the same brand. You want to differentiate your client's website. So this is very good to keep in mind. NAP, very important. Also, don't forget to add working social sharing icons and badges. You want to be building a small community of people that are going to be either customers of your client or are going to be customers. So you want to always add those social sharing icons with their individual social media properties. So I'll get back into this point in a few seconds. Capture mobile users. Very important at the local level. I'm going to be talking a little bit about it in a few slides in the next few minutes, but local equals mobile users, whether it's a restaurant, a plumber, HVAC company, basement waterproofing. You have to realize that users, your target audience are mobile users. As a result, make sure that their websites are mobile responsive. That's very critical. And if they're not, make sure that the franchisee talks to the parent company and continues to advocate the change of their website into a responsive website, because otherwise you're going to be left behind, specifically with the high use of mobile users at the local level. And another one is leverage the power of social media. As I said, in your website, don't forget to add your working social sharing icons. But at the same time, if you are dealing with a franchisee who owns multiple locations, or who services multiple locations, you want to make sure that each location should have its own active social media profiles, right? That's very key, and Google Places is now making it easier now to add different locations for that. Also, Facebook, Twitter, make sure that they have individual locations. You want to be able to at least claim them, and from time to time, be able to update them as well. It's very important. I know that your client may say, well, you know what, I have 3 locations and I don't have the time or the resources to update all 3. Well, just create a content calendar and make sure that you are providing some activity to those social media profiles and properties. The least thing you want to do, is at least claim them. That's and optimize them, right? Obviously, if your client can get people to review or add their reviews on these social profiles with their address, that's even better, right? So he talks about that in the next topic, but just looking at having individual pages for each location, having their own social media profiles, that's a best business practice. Again, you have to have the proper NAP, name, address, and phone number, hours of operation. Everything has to be consistent. Whatever you have in your social media properties should be consistent on the location's website. Encourage customer reviews. Again, want to make sure that not just on your site you want to have reviews, but also on social media properties. That goes a long way in helping with the optimization of the site. So I know I'm getting some questions, but I will definitely address those questions at the end. Thank you very much, but I will continue going. Clean up directory listings. Oh, this is one thing that I've seen more and more lately in our everyday work, which is the cleanup area of directory listings. Definitely, this is very key, and I would recommend that if you encounter a prospect who has claimed listings in the past with the wrong NAP, with the wrong information, and you have to go in there and clean it up, well, provide them with a quote. That is very important, because sometimes in some scenarios it's very simple to clean them up. You log in, you go in there, and you make the change. But in other scenarios, you have to go through a couple of process steps in order to finally get them cleaned up. So the key thing is, whether it be a local business or a local franchisee, make sure that the directory listings are very well cleaned up. They're accurate and consistent with the proper NAP to make sure that they are getting the right signal as a ranking factor to their website. So very important. These are very key things that you can do, not only for yourselves as ICs for your own websites, but also for any client that is a franchise or part of a franchise organization. Okay, excellent. We'll move on to the next slide. Here we go. And this one was a little bit of I saw it on Google Groups as well. Definitely, there was a few comments in regards to I guess some comments that came from John Mueller, who's a Google Webmasters Trends Analyst. In one of his recent webinars, he mentioned that try to avoid link building because it can do more harm than good. It's a very strong statement, and definitely you have to put it into context. Specifically, I actually got the opportunity to listen to some of the webinar. You can actually find it on Search Engine Land, and the link is below, and I can share it with you if you want. But you have to look at the fact that he's referencing in reality to SEO specialists or individuals who still are focusing on link building as their priority in their SEO strategy. Okay, this is something, let's say something in the 1990s or early 2000s where link building was very key. And I can tell you that even today, in 2015, there's people, whether it be company owners or even SEO specialists that are outdated that are still using link building as their main focus. Okay, and the reference that he made, if you're looking into the context, is really either just focusing on spammy links, directories, or if you think that just by using link building your website is going to generate a strong SEO presence. So Google, as a rule of thumb, has always maintained never to focus on link building only and let the site's content attract links naturally. That's been their pretty much their overall positioning. But as we've kind of undergone a change in the industry, we know that proper link building, clean link building is one of the many ranking factors today still. Okay, and he actually acknowledges that link building is one of the many ranking factors, but it's not the only one. So we have to be very careful in the sense that we can't just avoid link building. What you want to avoid is the overusing the practice of link building, specifically some gray hat or black hat strategies, okay, which we don't practice. Again, one of the things that I kind of wanted to share with you is a comprehensive SEO strategy such as adaptive SEO aligns very well with Google and its ranking factors. This is very, very, very key. Okay, and I actually wanted to just go back to our adaptive SEO methodology. Whereas if you look at our adaptive SEO methodology, it aligns with Google's, specifically with even Mr. Mueller's comment where he says, well, you want to kind of focus on content marketing and make sure that your content gets picked up naturally. That's great, and that is 45%. That is 45% of our overall strategy in adaptive SEO. And this is where we can differentiate ourselves from the competition, right? And when you're looking at the aspect of link building, or your link building strategy, following the adaptive SEO methodology, that's about 10% of our overall work. And within that 10%, you have to look at the fact that these link building strategies are composed or made up of industry directory submissions that are relevant, social bookmarking, press release syndication, as well as very key local citations and social sharing. So a very well defined SEO strategy will have a certain component of link building, but as you can see, in our case even it's at 10%. Now, for those of you that are still doing traditional SEO, and I know that many of our clients at ALM are still doing traditional SEO, you have to understand that even internally, we have changed and modified our own link building strategies for our traditional SEO packages. We encourage even video submissions, infographic submissions. So there's a whole number of ways, different number of ways that you can actually gain proper link building or backlinks by doing it properly. The harm is done again when you emphasize on the overall link building strategy. So just wanted to share that with you. This is really something that if you have a client that comes to you, if you have a client that comes to you and has some questions in regards to link building, and Google has said that, we typically have some of the ICs whose clients maybe know a little bit of SEO, and they ask questions and they try to put you on the spot. So this is the way you can explain it to them. Definitely, if it's done properly as part of an overall strategy, link building is a good thing. Okay, today. Now that may change in 6 months or 12 months if Google decides to change their algorithms or the way searches are done. But even in the interview that happened with Mr. Mueller, he mentioned that link building is a ranking factor. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that into your attention. Okay, let me go to the next slide. Here we go. Okay, and I'm just going to bring Amalia. She has a bit of an update from us in regards to for us in regards to Facebook.
Yes, hi there, everyone. I just wanted to quickly share an article I came across in regards to Facebook. I found it rather interesting and something I think we should all be made aware of. Facebook has just recently updated its privacy policy to say that it can now, in fact, track our every move, even when you're logged off the app. Facebook's latest policy change will come as a surprise to policy aware, as the new policy does allow the website to gather data about the individual from across the internet. This will include anywhere from online searches and details shared with the online retailers. Facebook, of course, does claim it is a good thing, and that will improve the user's experience by showing only relevant adverts. So for all the Facebook users out there, keep in mind you are being tracked. So, yeah.
Thanks,
Back to you, Armando.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's an interesting thing about Facebook now that it's gathered more and more steam. So I think that the way they're kind of justifying their a bit of their updating privacy policies for advertisers, which in that case it kind of benefits us as digital marketeers, because I've seen an increase in the ICs in the use of Facebook in advertising, which is a great thing. And I know that Jack Porter at Search Results, I think it is, yeah. He's actually, in his strategies, he's also always using Facebook in his overall paid search strategy. So it's something that continues to grow. We've also seen it in our campaigns as a great success with Facebook. So again, just keep an eye on that, and their policy has changed. Excellent. Thank you, Amalia. Another great thing, or actually another thing that happened this week, not a great thing, but another update or news newsreel that happened this week, or last week actually, was that Google Webmaster Tools data stopped updating almost for about a week, probably a week and a half. And since Saturday, February 7th till about, I think it was Sunday, early Monday, Webmaster Tools had not updated their or refreshed their database. As a result, if you were logged into Webmaster Tools, you wouldn't be able to see this data, so it was missing. So we definitely saw a lot of requests from ICs in regards to that, and as a matter of fact, Google for about probably 4 or 5 days were very quiet, or 6 days were very quiet because they were receiving complaints in their forums, and there was no official response. But there actually was an official response as of yesterday, where they actually explained that the search queries data was currently a bit delayed, and they should definitely catch up in the next few days. What does that mean for us as ICs? Well, just keep an eye on that, because if you're seeing that after, let's say, Thursday or Friday, your client's Webmaster Tools data is not being updated, perhaps do let us know if that's something that we can assist you as one of your accounts. Or number two, definitely, you may have to connect with Google support. My understanding, based on the information that was relayed in the different forums, is that they're just, their database will take a few days to refresh. Typically, the data is about 2 days behind, but having experienced a 7-8 day 8-day data backup, it may take a few more days for it to update. So keep that in mind. As well as there was a similar delay with Google Analytics last week. I think it was a 1 to 2 delays in data, which is also in the process of being refreshed. So no need to panic. Hopefully, we hope that by Thursday, everything is back to normal with Google Webmaster Tools, and with your Google Analytics account. It should be, I would imagine that today or tomorrow everything should be running smooth. You should be getting updated data. But just want to let everyone know, in case that you have a client that asks you that, or you yourself have looked into your client's Google Webmaster Tools and are wondering what the heck's going on. There was a delay from Google, and they actually have now made an official response on February 16th. Okay, so that's information from Google. I wanted to share something with you today in today's webinar in regards to mobile stats for your use. This is something that we've been pushing in the last 6-8 weeks, probably since the end of November last year, and it's really looking at 2015 as the year of responsive. Many sites are out there are still not responsive. Your clients may not be really open to the idea of responsive because they think it's going to be a new an additional cost to convert. In some cases, you know what, this is a great opportunity for them to rebrand and launch a totally new website if their website hasn't been rebranded or they haven't had a new look and feel in the last 5 years. This is a great way of actually doing a win-win. They get a new design as well as a responsive website. But I wanted to share some of these stats with you for your presentations, and as a matter of fact, I would definitely recommend that you read this article. It's really based on the statistics out there, and I'm pretty sure you know them, but for your presentations, whether it's an existing client that you're trying to get them to upgrade to a responsive website or a prospect client, these are great stats where you see that 75% there's been an increase in smartphone penetration by 10% between 2014 and 2013, meaning that traffic has surpassed desktop. So mobile traffic in 2014 surpassed desktop for the first time, and this is very critical. Mobile device owners aren't just using their devices for fun. According to Nielsen, 87% of smartphones and tablet owners report using their mobile devices for shopping activities, right? So there we go. And as a matter of fact, one of the activities that we're doing at ALM is as we're going through there are 6-month or 4-month review of our clients' analytics. We're keeping an eye on the mobile and tablet traffic stats, and we're notifying the ICs. You know what? It may be a good time for you to share this, because in some cases I've seen myself some clients. Google Analytics reporting about 40% of their traffic in the last 6 months is coming from either a mobile phone or a tablet. So definitely very important, not just for the SEO component, which is very critical as well, but also for the fact that, you know what, if your site's not responsive, you're going to get a higher bounce rate because people are not going to be fidgeting with your website. You're going to get very annoyed at the fact that your website cannot provide them with important information right on the right time. So again, it's a very important a stat to share with them. And as a matter of fact, Shopify also reported that 50% of traffic to its e-commerce platform was actually from mobile devices. So Shopify, obviously, it's a very good, pretty reputable e-commerce platform. So if in their platform they can see these stats, I mean, it's something that your clients should consider if they're looking at e-commerce activities as well. So wanted to share these stats, but what I actually also wanted to share was a recent study that was done by Google, and I'm actually going to post this on the chat in a second. Let me just I actually wanted to share this with you, and this is a good it's a PDF. I mean, lots of information. Some of it is very relevant. Here, let me put it here in the chat box right here. And also nice infographics for your PowerPoint presentations that you're pitching to new clients. And actually, Google spent, if I go all the way to the top, if you excuse me for a second here, it was actually as of May 2013. They haven't really updated it, but you can look at the fact that, you know, they spent resources, and they actually, in conjunction with Ipsos Media CT, they actually came up with this study about the use of mobile in the U.S. and understanding the mobile consumer. So definitely would like to share this with you, and if you have a chance, you know, definitely it's perfect information for you to share in your presentations, even if you want to write a blog about it. So a lot of good information that's out there that's free, and sometimes we take it for granted. So a good article or study that was done. And I know that sometimes we get questions in the past, probably 5-6 weeks. I've been getting a lot of questions from ICs if we have this type of information. Well, it's readily available out there for you. Just go to this link and you'll be able to kind of get some statistics and be able to position your presentations, tailor them to the needs of your prospects. So a lot of good information here. In regards to mobile usage. The one that I like, sorry, I'm kind of going a little bit fast, but the one that I kind of wanted to share was this one. 94% of smartphone users have looked for local information. 84% have taken action as a result. Meaning that if you're one of those sites that is not responsive and your information is not readily available, there's a chance that the user will just move on to another site. So I just wanted to share this PDF with you. Hopefully you can find it very useful in your presentations as well as just your own personal education with all the nice stats that are there. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Excellent. And if you actually want to get more information, also let us know. I can actually give you this this link on Search Engine Land, because they even have a more detailed report from Nielsen. Obviously Nielsen being a very reputable marketing organization, you can definitely get more information there. But really, the data is there, and the fact that your users are doing it and Google's asking for it. I mean, any client or any business owner that doesn't want to listen, they better listen soon. Excellent. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is in regards to social media, and this was a great article by our friend at QuickSprout, Neil Patel, who talked a little bit about some of his experience in regards to getting the most value out of your LinkedIn post. And again, one of the main reasons I use this article is for you to use it as your own educational tool, but as well as to educating your clients and also in your presentations. So let me just share that with you. I'm going to move there. And this was actually a great infographic that he developed, or he created, sorry, with his team. And this is one of the things that I kind of liked about his blog, is that he uses a lot of infographics and lots of great information. So we'll move along, and obviously you can kind of look at the fact that LinkedIn has 250 million users who are mostly business professionals. LinkedIn is a powerhouse social network, and you can actually see some of the key things here where when you're planning on using LinkedIn for your clients, if they're a B2B, what is the best way of doing it? Most likely B2B is more relevant, although there are some opportunities for B2C as well. Don't just because it's primarily B2B, don't take it. Don't discard it if if you have a client that's B2C, because at least you want to optimize their company profile on LinkedIn. Okay, and it talks about what makes LinkedIn more effective. B2B marketers are aiming to reach through content marketing for 4 key areas: brand awareness, lead generation, obviously WSI social selling methodology is based around LinkedIn, sales were the most often listed, were most often listed goals, and engagement. Then there's a couple other popular goals, obviously customer evangelism, lead nurturing, customer retention, loyalty, and upselling and cross-selling opportunities. So definitely there is an opportunity there for any of your clients that are B2B to leverage from LinkedIn. Now here are some of the 8 data-driven guidelines, and I like it, because it kind of aligns with the way we kind of work at ALM. Number 1, consistently plan and document your content marketing strategy. Start with a plan. Start with a content calendar. Don't just post, right? You want to make sure that you have a strategy behind it, a very well documented strategy, and then stick to that strategy, right? You can't just pick content on the fly. Ideally, you want to make sure that there's a theme, a topic, a news event that relates to what you're writing, and that's where your content marketing strategy comes in. You have to plan it and document it, okay? According to the article, the infographic, 60% with a documented strategy get better results than 32% of those who have a verbal strategy. So again, very important to really have everything documented and be able to have it all planned out. Rule number 2, deliver lots of value with little words. This is very important. You want to keep your post on LinkedIn short and simple and sweet. 40 to 49 characters is the best way to do this. Obviously, if you are writing blogs on LinkedIn, your notification or your posting should be very, very short, and then obviously add your bit.ly or your actual link to the blog post so a person can actually read it all in a separate instance or a separate page, right? But if you're sharing it with your network, you want to keep your posts very short, sweet, and simple. Okay. Rule number 3, timing. When is the best time to post, and when are people most reading your posts? Early morning, 7 to 8, so before they start their day. Lunchtime, right, 1 to 2, and also early evening, 4 to 5. So I guess just before they head home, and, they're still using probably the last hour of the work hour to read your post. In some cases, if it's a company that does a lot of research on LinkedIn, salespeople may be kind of doing a bit of trolling on LinkedIn throughout the day. But these are some of the most appropriate times to post. Rule number 4. Research and test topics that appeal to target customers. So again, this goes back to number 1, which is really planning. You want to have a planned content marketing calendar where you have already defined some topics, and you can test some ideas, promotions, etc., or the way you would like to target your customers, and the different themes and so on. So you want to research. You want to see what the competitors are doing. One of the things that I always encourage our Canadian ICs is, why don't you look into what a U.S. company is doing, and vice versa, right? What are companies doing in the UK, right? You want to kind of see what's happening out there, and kind of get some data or some research done outside the box, right? This one was interesting. Number 5 and number 6, actually, they go together. LinkedIn audiences like images. So if you include images on your post, obviously there is an association, or there is a associated behavior where you're going to get a greater number of shares, likes, comments, and views on LinkedIn. So it's not just short posts. You can obviously add images, and an infographic perhaps, and I've seen that with some ISCs doing this very successfully. And number 6 is actually, if you're planning on doing any multimedia such as videos, you may not get that great result. Apparently, the results are not as great. There's fewer posts with that people, fewer post views. People are not looking at that. They're not staying at. I mean, if they want to look at multimedia, most likely they'll go to YouTube. But it's interesting. Now, you may be able to test this out. Maybe for some of your clients, it may work. It may not work. But just best business practices. Use of images versus videos for multimedia. Number 7 is again, use popular blog post headlines such as how-tos and top 10s. When you open up your LinkedIn, you can start seeing all the different posts, and you want to be able to capture your users' attention, right? Your followers' attention, the people that are connected to you, and the best way of doing it is with a catchy headline, right? Marketing 101. Because when you open up LinkedIn, sometimes you get bombarded with posts. You're not going to look at everything, right? I mean, I kind of go through everything very quickly, and if I don't find anything interesting, I just move on to the next one. So if you're using if you're using a catchy headline such as how-to, top 10, or another one that I always like is, did you know, right? People want to know. Then you want to make sure that you have a good content headline on your post in order to attract the user to read more, click in, like it, etc. Rule number 8: make posts organized. Make content easy to read and digest. You want to be able to do this very, very tactfully. Posts that are divided into 5 headings attract the greatest number of post views. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are leveraging from your LinkedIn properly, and that you're not either overdoing it with your users. Okay, so these are some of the eight rules that you should be using for LinkedIn. I thought I'd share it with you. I'm going to share this this link with everyone. And again, if you one of the reasons I'm always bringing this to your attention is because I always believe that you can use it on your everyday presentations to your clients, existing or new clients. Excellent. There's another great article that I wanted to share with you. This one's I always get a lot of questions. We always get a lot of questions in regards to WordPress, and is WordPress, an SEO friendly content management system? And I can tell you that from our experience at ALM over the past probably 12 to 14 months, we've kind of moved away from Joomla and tried to focus more on WordPress, just because of some of the benefits that it has. Right, as an open source CMS. I mean, there's a lot of CMSs out there, and there's hundreds of them out there. Some of them are free, some of them are software as a service. But I found this article on Search Engine Land very, very, very interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. There's 10 questions to demystifying WordPress as an SEO CMS. So number one question is, I've heard that WordPress is a search engine optimized out of the box. Is that true? The author goes on to say that there's no such thing as a SEO optimized CMS. There's a difference between a search engine friendly and an SEO optimized CMS. Why? Because search engine optimization is an ongoing practice, and what you're doing today not only will change in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, in 12 months. So there's no such thing as an SEO optimized CMS. One of the key things about WordPress is that it's search engine friendly, meaning that it has been developed using best business practices, and Google does like to really finds it very easy to index and crawl through a WordPress blog or a WordPress website. Okay. Number two, I've installed a WordPress SEO plugin. That means I don't need an SEO consultant, right? So I actually had a very similar question about 2 weeks ago from actually the IC sent it to us. It was from one of his clients in regards to the fact that they thought that by having Yoast or all-in-one SEO plugins, it was pretty much, that was it. As a matter of fact, that's incorrect. SEO isn't a quick and easy install. It's not a turnkey. The plugin is a helper, you can say, or it's a tool that will help you organize your meta content, your metadata, but SEO is an ongoing process, and you need the right consultant to help you in developing an SEO strategy and putting the information, the meta content, on the SEO tools. So definitely, like I said, Yoast and all-in-one are good SEO plugins. The matter of the fact is that somebody has to definitely plug in the right information into the plugins. Okay. Number three, how do I choose? Sorry, I forgot to know there. How do I choose the best WordPress SEO plugin for my website? This is another great question that we always get from clients and ICs in regards to plugins. I mean, there's hundreds, and I can literally say probably thousands of plugins out there for very different things, and it's hard to choose the right plugins. Sometimes you think you have the right plugin, and it just makes your website a little bit slower, or maybe it's not compatible to your existing WordPress content management system. Maybe the version it's not compatible. So one of the key things is when you're kind of going through this research, you have to look at the compatibility factor. In the specific, if your WordPress CMS has been customized, sometimes plugins that are out there, they may be 2-3 years old, and if you have a new WordPress version, it may not work very well with your website. So compatibility is number one. Number two, support. This is very key. There are many companies out there that actually develop these plugins at a price, and the moment you purchase the license, you may not hear from them. So you want to make sure that you have, when you choose a plugin, that the company or individual that's developed this plugin is actually supporting it. And We've had situations like that in the past where clients have asked ICs to add a specific plugin, and we face a little bit of a challenge even in the development phase, and it creates delays in build, and primarily is because of the fact that we're still waiting for the plugin company to provide us some support because it's not compatible to the CMS that we're using. Usage and popularity, this is great too. You want to look at the reviews that are posted usually on WordPress.org. You can kind of see what other developers are saying or other users are saying about the plugin and how popular that plugin is, and that will give you an indication if it's a good plugin or not. And also feature development, again, if that plugin gets updated every so often in order to meet the requirements of any major version updates that are done to WordPress. So if you are looking at a WordPress SEO plugin for your website or your client's website, make sure you take into consideration these things: compatibility, support, usage and popularity, as well as feature development. And that's key too, because if, let's say, you are looking at upgrading your WordPress versions, you got to be very careful. Don't try to do it on your own. I would consult a developer, a WordPress programmer, or a production team before you go in there and start playing with the upgrades. Because if you click on the upgrade version, upgrade me now, you may end up creating issues for the site. Question number 4. How do I choose a good WordPress hosting solution? Oh, very good thing. Good question. We've had that also here at ALM. Number 1, support for plugins. This is very, very, very important. You want to make sure that before you actually transfer a website, let's say you are looking at transferring a WordPress website from one hosting company to another, you want to make sure that the new hosting company supports the plugins. Okay, that's very key. We've had that situation in the past where the client just decided to move in from one hosting company to another one, didn't do the research, they just thought they were getting a better deal, or because they were tired of the old hosting company, they just moved it, and little did they know that there were issues with that new hosting company supporting. So try to do your due diligence as a consultant, make sure that happens. Make sure that the hosting company has a proper service level agreement in regards to backup and restoring. Ideally, it's always good to have a staging environment. That way you can test the new WordPress version on a staging environment before you launch it. Okay, that's a very good business practice. Reputation of the hosting company is very good as well. Beware of affiliates. There are some hosting companies out there that will offer very, very cheap or pretty much almost free website hosting, and the reason is because there are affiliates and there's a whole link building scheme behind it. Be very, very, very wary about that. And the last one is expertise. You want to make sure that the hosting company that you're working with, that WordPress is one of their core technologies they support. Okay, and that they actually provide a good service level agreement. Now, we've had the opportunity to work with quite a number of hosting companies within the WSite network and outside the network, and I can tell you that pretty much for the most part, we've had great success with companies like GoDaddy, HostGator, Bluehost, but within the network, I can tell you that if you're looking at Genesis, Genesis version of WordPress, obviously you have Action Hosting, as well as if you're looking at just a standard NewTek is also a great hosting company. But again, before you decide, look at these factors, speak with the hosting companies. Want to make sure that they provide what your client needs, what your client's website needs, and what you need as an IC. Question number 5: can free WordPress themes hurt my SEO? Very, very, very weary about it. Very weary about this. Very careful. In many cases, companies will offer free WordPress themes. However, for the most part, these are associated with a link network, and you may just be part of a larger, bigger scam of non-SEO practices. So be very wary about that. You want to make sure that these free WordPress themes are updated or supported. You want to look at the reviews and the feedback. You want to ask questions such as, does it follow Google's guidelines and SEO practices? Is the theme responsive, mobile friendly? Okay. Now I know that you may have clients that actually tell you this, or prospects, oh, I'm looking at hosting, I'm looking at doing a new website, a free WordPress theme site. It's going to be free, it's cheaper than the version that you are offering me. Or sometimes clients want to cut corners, and they may go for a free WordPress theme. So as a consultant, be very wary. As a matter of fact, before you take on a client like this who's already hosted on a free WordPress theme site, you want to make sure that you're not getting yourself into a challenge where, in reality, trying to optimize a free WordPress site it's more than a handful, rather than something that you're going to enjoy. So these are things that if a client or a prospect talks to you about a free WordPress theme, you can actually refer them to these questions, or to these things that they have to make sure, these elements they have to make sure they're compatible. Okay, we have 5 more to go. Okay, here we go. What's better for SEO? Installing WordPress on a new domain, subdomain, or subfolder? This is a great question that we also get as well. If, let's say, you have a Joomla website and you want to install a WordPress blog, or you have a PHP website and you want to install a WordPress blog, what's the best way of really installing it? Or installing it is it under its own domain name, or as part of the main site? So really it depends on the purpose of the blog. If you have a short-lived campaign, you may want to do the blog on its own domain name. If you don't want to really associate it with the parent site, that's good. However, if you are looking at installing a WordPress blog on the main site, ideally you want to make sure that it's done as a subfolder. I wouldn't even use a subdomain. I would rather focus on the subfolder. That's where we've seen a lot of great results for our clients. And typically, the URL should be yourcompany.com/blog, right? That's the best way if indeed you want that blog to be part of the site, right? Now, if you don't want it to be part of the site because that's, let's say, like a 6-month or a 1-year campaign that the client's doing, you just have a secondary property, so have it on its own URL, right? But if it's something that the blog's going to be integral part of your content marketing strategy for the main site, for the main URL, this is the ideal way of doing it, yourcompany.com/blog, okay? Number 7, will adding a post to many WordPress categories be good for my SEO? You got to be careful. If you are doing this, ideally you should only just choose one category, preferably, and tagging it with multiple tags. But it can be considered duplicate content unless you add the proper meta directives and canonical tags to make sure that these posts do not become duplicates. Number 8, this is something that's been happening with themes with HTML5, where you can have multiple instances of H1 tags per page. Again, you want to make sure that you only use one H1 tag for the first heading of your page, and try to avoid the use of multiple H1 tags because it just creates confusion. So best business practice, stick to one H1 tags. You can use H2 and H3 tags, but primarily each page should have just one H1 tag. Number 9, how can I improve my SEO with WordPress widgets? Again, the use of widgets can be very, very helpful for your website to increase customer engagement, customer loyalty, but you want to make sure that you add a social player that promotes engagement. You can look at BuddyPress, buddypress.org. They have lots of widgets that you can use for Facebook, Twitter, etc. You can also add other media plugins that may allow your users to upload images and videos. If you have, for example, a blog where you're allowing them to respond, so it's non-moderated a blog, and you want people to actually reply to your blogs, you just want to make sure that you put in the right plugin for the use of the blog. Number 9, one of the key things is that you want to make sure that be careful with site-wide links that are not 100% relevant. You want to make sure that when you want to improve your SEO using widgets, that you're focusing on the content that as much as possible within that one page. You don't want to be optimizing it for different keywords that are not relevant to the page that you're optimizing. So that's very key. Question number 10, can it hurt my SEO if I'm not using the user's native language? As you know, WordPress is multilingual, so preferably try to set it up to speak your visitor's language, meaning that if it's a blog in French, Spanish, for example, or Portuguese, make sure that you're setting it up as a multilingual WordPress blog rather than an English blog that can service Portuguese. And with plugins such as WPML, which is a multilingual WordPress plugin, it's very easy to use, very easy to set up, and it just provides a better, richer, more engaged user experience, which enhances your SEO because that's part of the SEO ranking factor. So wanted to share this with you today. A great article that discusses a lot of the things in regards to SEO. We have a few minutes left. I just wanted to quickly share this case study. I can probably touch base with it on it next week. This case study is a case study for an adaptive SEO plan that we launched probably about 3 or 4 months ago. It did take us a little bit of time to really get up and running. In this case, what we did was we did the setup in month 1, and I think that now we're in month 4. But we did setup month 1, then we went into month 1 deliverables and month 2 deliverables, and now we're in month 3. It's a company called John the Plumber. They're a local Ottawa plumbing company, and their goal was not just to focus on one geo target, which was Ottawa, but they were expanding into multiple locations. So their focus was local. The client had been working with a previous SEO company, and their experience was not that great. They hadn't had any great results in Ottawa, beyond Ottawa with the new locations. So because of his understanding of SEO, he really wanted us to focus on 4 key locations, which I've shared here, which is Ottawa, Orleans, Barrhaven, and Nepean. And as a result, we developed a whole strategy to do that. One of the key things that we encountered was that the website that he had a lot of technology and also programming issues, from dynamic URLs to the fact that the content was very weak, to the way it was the Joomla site was set up. We really had to do a little bit of work to clean it up a little bit, not just the content but also the structure of the website. So that was a bit challenging in the beginning. The solution to this client was going after 10 keywords. And actually dividing them into different geo targets, okay? And we also added a WordPress blog. So we added a WordPress blog module to the Joomla website, and the whole reason was to use the blog as our content, as part of our content marketing strategy, where we're going to store all of the ongoing content. And the other key thing that we did was we began to write new content for the new locations. Now, the client was in the process of actually expanding this. So as he kind of gave us a new address, we've been adding new location pages to the website to make them more SEO friendly. And you can see already just by month 2, and I'll probably be bringing you an update in the next 2 months because there's been some recent changes to the website and to the results. But if you look at this, just in 2 months of work, 2 to 3 months of work that we've done, we've actually had some great results with Google Places, right? We've had some good results also with Google organic rankings, but as you know, these Google rankings always do take a little bit of time to settle in, to really solidify themselves. And even though we're doing an adaptive SEO, it takes time. But one of the key things that we've noticed is that Google Places has definitely gained very good results. At the local level in Ottawa, you can see that we're ranking top 3, top 4 at the most. So that's been very, very positive, and the client likes that because he wanted to be ranking locally, and that just happened in a matter of about 30 to 60 days. Okay. One of the key things that we have just done, and it's probably going to be updated in the next week or so, is we understood the limitations of the Joomla technology that the client was using. It was an older version of Joomla. We couldn't work on it anymore. The previous programmer really made a bit of a mess on the way they set up the URL structure. So we advised the client to move on to a WordPress responsive site, and it's going to be launched probably in the next week or so. Just finalizing that. One other thing that we actually also confirmed was that when you're dealing with a brick and mortar locations-based business, you want to make sure that if you're looking at optimizing for multiple locations, ideally your client should have real addresses in those locations to get the best, right? If they don't have multiple offices in different offices in different locations, the SEO component, the ranking component may take a little bit longer to rank higher than if you actually have an office. So if you have a client that's looking at expanding their business, they have to consider having real addresses, okay? Because that's just, it's much better for SEO, okay? And also, if you are doing multiple locations, make sure that in your overall SEO strategy that you have content written specifically for those locations. And as you can see, that's what's helped in this case is the fact that the client had 1 or 2 additional locations set up with real addresses, and at the same time we've created content relevant to that and continue to optimize it. So that's going to be launched probably in the next week or so, so I'll keep you posted. But if you have a client out there that it's a plumber or a painter or a carpenter and looking at a local adaptive SEO case study, shoot us an email and we'll send this off to you. Again, thank you for your time. A little bit about us, our clients, our services. There's a few questions that we have, and just because of the nature of time, I'm going to be replying to you individually. I have your email address here, just because of the interest of time. And what I'll do is next week I'll kind of also allude to those questions into our next webinar, so everybody can kind of learn more about them. But one of the questions that I had was in regards to the just give me a quick second, just pulling it out here. One of them was in regards to duplicate content. Does Google have the ability to tell 2 pictures are identical? They may not be able to tell 2 are identical, but you have to definitely have different alt tags. So definitely putting the alt tags should be different. Another one is, what tool do you suggest to check a prospect's directory listings? Do you like moz.com? Yes, moz.com is good. You can also use White Spark, but moz.com /local is a great tool for that. You can also check out SEMrush as well. I can give you some information on that. Does Joomla 2.5 support SEO well? Carlos, you know what? That's a great question. Our biggest challenge with Joomla has been the fact that since they stopped supporting the technology now in 2014, it's very iffy. Our websites that have been built on Joomla 2.5 are doing well. However, if you can move your client away from Joomla, if that's a strategy that can be done, I would do that, just because of the fact that the best version out there right now is I think 3.0. So to put into perspective, yes, it is an SEO friendly. So far, it has been SEO friendly for our clients. But just looking forward and looking ahead, I don't know if you want to stay within that platform. Okay, so that's one of the things that I will share with you in regards to that. Okay, those are the questions for today. Well, great. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back next week, and look forward to wishing you guys the best next 4 days. Go and get some new clients, and enjoy the rest of the week. Take care. Bye-bye.